Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona. Reference 16513. You can see this 40mm two-tone Rolex Cosmograph Daytona with zenith movement on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now you can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. At first glance, there's not much different about this 90s era zenith-powered Cosmograph, and the bottom line is, since 1988, the signature look and stance of this watch has not changed. It's more or less set in stone, born perfect. But what has changed are subtle distinctions that have led this 1990s zenith-powered variant from its turn as the king of the Rolex catalog in the heady 90s, with wait lists stretching out to years, to an emerging king of the vintage market as these zenith-powered models become more scarce and more sought by collectors. Now you can see on my wrist, the watch sits 12.5 millimeters thick, so it's not excessively girthy, and at 47.5 millimeters from lug to lug, the modern 5 and 6 digit Daytona cases simply aren't overwhelming in their proportions. They wear easy, and they wear fairly easily on a wrist even as small as 13 centimeters. So even if your wrist is smaller than mine, as long as it's fairly oval in profile and you can handle the span without any overlap of lug beyond skin, this watch will fit securely and with style. I do want to emphasize that where the ergonomic distinctions begin is in the bracelet itself. Now what you're looking at is a Rolex 79393 Alpha bracelet. So you do have solid end links, so we've moved past that vintage episode in Rolex history, and you do have a straight through clasp on the two-tone model, but the watch does feature a considerably more vintage feel on the wrist because of the solid outer links in conjunction with hollow center links on the bracelet. Now this gives the watch a little bit of a evocative 60s, 70s kind of transitional feel to them. They aren't quite as delicate as the old manual wind Daytonas. No, the cases are much sturdier than that, with crown guards and stance, solid metal, 904L stainless steel in this case, but the bracelets do have a little bit of a throwback quality to them, such that close your eyes and you could sort of imagine yourself wearing a 70s Paul Newman. But the bottom line is that the highlight of this watch is and has ever been the movement within the case. From 1988 to the tail end of 1999, Rolex used the Zenith El Primero, doing business as the Rolex caliber 4030. Now, the El Primero, which Rolex effectively admitted was the best chronograph available and better than anything they had in-house, was extremely constrained in its production. Being built by a company that was positively tiny in comparison to Rolex, and then only representing a portion, not all, of the movement production, these 90s Cosmographs are far, far more constrained in number, as they were constrained in production, than the latter in-house movement Rolex Cosmographs. You can see some features of the case betray its age. The tritium dial, which is advancing steadily and evenly across the indices as well as the hands. You can see that the constant seconds at 9 o'clock, characteristic of the zenith-based caliber, beats away and gives up the game. You can see that the pushers themselves, when you view them head-on, like this, centering one in your field of vision, they aren't quite square to the case. So rather than being perpendicular to the arc, they are in fact slightly canted, whereas the in-house movement features them perpendicular to the arc of the case and the bezel. Moreover, you can see that on this older zenith-powered example, the easiest way to spot one of these, besides the location of the second subdial, is by looking for the alignment of the sub-register hands and the cannon pinion at center. When they're all in line, you know you're looking at a zenith. Now the watch does feature what could be called the Generation 4 zenith-powered dial. So this was the 4, featuring all 5 lines of print at 12 o'clock, featuring the inverted 6 such that it no longer looked like a 9 on the sub-register, the hour counter at 6 o'clock, as well as 3 hashes, not 4, between the Arabic numeral stations and the 5-minute intermediate stations on the minute counter at 3 o'clock. But the watch still being tritium, not the 5th generation Luminova, it does have a little bit more of a vintage quality to it. Now the caliber itself, and I'll give you a quick case back shot since there really is nothing to see back there other than a smartly finished screw and case back. The caliber itself features the same 31 jewels as the Zenith El Primero, but stepped back a little bit to 28,800 vibrations per hour so that it could use conventional lubricants rather than the exotic dry lubes used on the escapement of the Zenith. Moreover, the watch features a free-sprung balance with a Breguet overcoil hairspring, Rolex style, for improved durability and resistance to shock-induced timing variations, but also, thanks to the Breguet hairspring, resistant to position-induced timing variations. Now, it is a column wheel chronograph, just as the successor caliber 4130 is, but it features a lateral clutch, so you don't want to leave this one engaged full-time, but the tactile feel of an El Primero column wheel is worth the price of admission by itself. Now, it features a 52-hour power reserve. It is very tough. Moreover, Rolex made one more important revision to the El Primero. Many speak about the balance being free-sprung, many speak about the move to a Breguet hairspring and the reduction in rate, but Rolex dramatically redesigned the winding mechanism such that it was much, much tougher than the original Zenith. And with a COSC chronometer certificate, it's one of the few El Primero calibers ever to have received such a distinction. The screw-down crown allows 100-meter water resistance, and with a sapphire crystal, you can wear and use this watch just like a modern 6-digit Daytona with absolutely no hazard whatsoever. You can see and you can purchase this unique two-tone Zenith-powered Rolex Cosmograph Daytona, reference 16513, on our website, watchyouwant.com.